it was meant to be a simple favor. Lily Morgan, 24, had agreed to house-sit for the Harpers, a suburban family who were away on vacation. The house was spacious, a two-story colonial with neatly trimmed hedges and flower beds lining the driveway. She arrived mid-afternoon, keys jingling in her hand, and was greeted by a warm smile from Mr. Harper. "You'll have the place to yourself." "Just water the plants and keep an eye on things," he said. "Nothing too fancy." Lily nodded, excited at the idea of a quiet week away from her own cramped apartment. She unpacked her bag, set up her laptop on the kitchen island, and explored the house. Everything was perfect: polished floors, neatly made beds, the scent of lavender and clean laundry lingering in the air. The first night was uneventful. Lily watched a movie in the living room and fell asleep on the couch, comforted by the soft hum of the air conditioner. But when she woke around 3 a.m., she heard it, a faint, deliberate knock coming from upstairs. She froze. "Probably a tree branch," she whispered to herself, shaking off the unease. But later she noticed something odd. A photo frame in the hallway had been turned face down. She swore she hadn't touched it. The next night, more disturbances. The basement door, which she had locked, was slightly ajar. A chair in the study had shifted. Small things at first. Subtle, almost imperceptible, but persistent. Lily began leaving notes for herself, marking what had been moved and when. The feeling of being watched settled heavily over her. By the third day, the pattern became undeniable. Objects were rearranged, drawers left open, a cup she had left clean now stained with water. Every sound in the house, a creaking floorboard, the rustle of leaves outside, the sigh of the heating vents, made her heart pound. Lily began sleeping with the lights on, phone in hand, imagining shadows stretching across the walls. She tried to rationalize it. Perhaps the wind, perhaps animals in the attic. But her gut told her otherwise. Someone was in the house. The thought made her stomach churn, a cold weight pressing down. On the fourth night, she awoke to the distinct sound of movement in the basement. Her first instinct was to call the police, but the idea of an intruder immediately fleeing into the night seemed unlikely. Instead, she grabbed a flashlight and crept to the basement door. Her pulse raced as she shined the beam down the narrow staircase. The shadows seemed to shift as if alive. Nothing, only the faint scent of damp concrete. The week went on, each night leaving Lily more tense, more alert. When she tried to tell herself it was imagination, the house reminded her otherwise. Photos of smiling family members now turned upside down, the basement door unlocked, despite her remembering locking it. Small footprints appearing in the dust she had swept just hours before. Finally, the Harpers called to say they'd be returning early. Lily felt a wave of relief. She would finally leave this house, this place that had slowly begun to feel like it was watching her. She packed her things, double-checked the doors, and settled in to wait for the family's arrival. When the Harpers drove up, the sight that greeted them was shocking. The front door was open. Lily was gone. The house had a stillness to it, a sense of something paused, holding its breath. They immediately went to the basement, curious because of the repeated mentions in Lily's notes. The door, slightly ajar, revealed a space they had never seen before. Inside, a mattress lay on the floor, surrounded by empty food wrappers, discarded clothing, and the faint smell of perfume. Someone had been living there, secretly, quietly, comfortably, long before Lily had arrived. The Harpers called the police, who cordoned off the basement and began investigating. Fingerprints, dust patterns, and remnants of daily life indicated this intruder had been present for weeks, perhaps months. The depth of planning, the secrecy, and the audacity of someone occupying the house unnoticed was terrifying. Neighbors reported occasional glimpses of a figure moving inside the home at odd hours, a shadow in the windows. but never confirmed. How someone could live undetected in a suburban home, under the noses of a family and their visitors, defied belief. The search for Lily was intense, but she had vanished without a trace. No footprints outside the house, no sightings on nearby streets, nothing on the security cameras beyond her initial movements earlier that day. The feeling of calm safety that the neighborhood once held had been shattered. Weeks later, investigators pieced together a pattern. The basement had been accessible through a hidden crawl space, concealed behind an old shelving unit and a false panel. It led to a space just large enough to live in, a small, clandestine world hidden beneath the house. The intruder had stocked it with essentials, carefully avoiding detection, leaving only subtle reminders of their presence for anyone staying in the home. The realization sent chills through the community. Someone had been living undetected, observing, learning routines, perhaps even choosing victims like Lily based on trust, access, and opportunity. The Harpers' house, once a symbol of suburban safety, had become a predator's playground. Today, the house stands quietly, restored and secured, but the story lingers in whispers among neighbors. Every knock, every creak of floorboards, every misplaced object brings back the memory of that hidden life beneath their feet. The lesson remains clear. Appearances can deceive. Beneath ordinary walls, even familiar homes, danger can exist. Patient, silent, watching, waiting for the next person to let their guard down. Even now, some swear they can hear faint knocks from the basement, a whisper of movement behind the walls, a subtle warning of the presence that had once inhabited the home. Invisible, meticulous, and never caught.